Hello, Beatle friends. Bungalow Craig here. Wanted to do a kind of a proper send off of this record. I love this record, of many, of course, from the Beatles. But I did a update video of this record a long time ago. Wanted to kind of get it in HD and kind of go over some of the coolness of it. Um, of course, here we have the picture sleeve for the U.S. on the right side. Can't Buy Me Love came out on March 16th, 1964. And then on the left is the UK counterpart that came out on March 20th, 1964. So for the US version, we're going to be going through the Beatles story on Capitol Records by Bruce Spizers. And then for the UK version, we're going to go on Parlophone Records, Beatles for Sale on Parlophone Records by Bruce Spizers and Frank Daniels. And then if you hear any baby sounds in the back, just ignore them. Just part of the show, I guess. So let's go do it to it. All right, let's continue on. Here is the British side, the UK side. So it's really quite easy for this one. There's not that many differences. Basically, if you get the sold in the UK text, if you can see that right in the center of the spindle hole, that means it's the first pressing. So, and there's only two differences over here. There's this one right here where they're lined up. See, the Northern Songs and the NCB are lined up, or this one where they're not lined up, where it's shifted left. So basically, if you get, if you find it, you're going to find one of those two. Just make sure the first pressings of this single have the sold in the UK text right here, right in the center. And then you're going to want, if you want to marry the two proper sleeves and single, this is the single or the sleeve that accompanied it. It's the Parlophone, just the green with the actual Parlophone, or the pound label, the pound logo, and it's a straight top, so it's not wavy, it's straight. And then on the back, it actually will say 6 dash to 50. So anyway, yeah, that's it. It's very, very simple. The Can't Buy Me Love 45 for the British version. So let's go where we're all kind of leaning for, is the US side. So let's go for the main event, I guess. Okay, here is the US version, Can't Buy Me Love, with the picture sleeve. It's as a lot of you collectors out there know, it's very rare. It's one of those that a lot of people do want just because of the rarity of it. It looks, back in 1964 when they were trying to get this record out, they didn't have a picture of the Beatles, like a current picture. So they just used the same picture as I Want to Hold Your Hand from the East Coast version on Can't Buy Me Love. So just with the different wording and different numbers. So I remember reading a story online about it, that it was, somebody was walking down, like trying to get the record, and they were trying to get him out so fast that they didn't have a picture sleeve. And he was in his record store, and they had the wall of records, and like rows and rows of Can't Buy Me Love single. None of them, not a single one of them, had a picture sleeve. So back in 1964, this sleeve was rare. So, and it's definitely rare and counterfeited today. So, and I'll go over some ways with the counterfeits as well. But first, when you're looking for this, you want to pair it up with the right version of the record, because as you can tell, they didn't do any West Coast. This is an East Coast because they didn't cut George's head off here, the top of his head, because on the Want to Hold Your Hand sleeve, the West Coast cropped his head because they had to make room for that thumb tab. This doesn't have a thumb tab, so it's an East Coast only, but you have to pair it up with the right record. So this is an East Coast with the one line of credit, or the song titles, and this is a West Coast that has two lines. But not only that, a lot of people don't mention this. I was actually speaking to Frank Daniels about this, and I said, well, if Capitol is trying to send out these picture sleeves, would they have sent them with the contract pressings? Now, what happened was during the 60s, they were getting so many back orders. Capitol couldn't meet the demand, especially when this record was coming out. There was, over 1 million, 2 million, something like that, that they were trying to get going and meet that supply for that demand. So what happened is they just that's the reason why this picture sleeve is very rare, is because they were just trying to press these singles out, get them out as fast as they could, so that they could get money off of them. But their norm, Capitol's norm, was to try to make picture sleeves. They wanted to make a picture sleeve so you could see the group. And they didn't have a picture, they didn't have time to get another one. They wanted to get this out as quickly as possible. So what happened was they had contract pressings. They did it with Columbia and Decca. So the way you can tell if it's a actual Capitol pressing plant that came from the actual plant, if you look at the dead wax, like right here in the dead wax, you should see an IM triangle. It's going to have a triangle shape and with an IM in it. If it doesn't have that, that was not made at the Scranton plant, and it's a contract pressing. So I was speaking to Frank Daniels and saying, well, would Capitol have sent these sleeves to the contract pressing so that they compare them? And he said, no, probably not. So what if you want to get the true marriage of the East Coast label and the sleeve, you're going to want to look for a Scranton made, not a contract pressing of the East Coast records. So check on your imprints right here. Make sure it has the IM logo. And if it has the IM logo, like this one does, this one doesn't, unfortunately, but this one does, that's the correct marriage between the two records, the sleeve and the record. So definitely take a look at that. Now with this sleeve, now since it's in such a high demand, of course there's going to be counterfeits, and there's a lot of counterfeits out there. So one way you can tell with the counterfeits, let's take a look here in this book. So I'm going to flip to the page here. One is to look out for this. Of course, that's an obvious counterfeit. It's not meant to fool you, but there are some counterfeits out there that are extremely difficult to distinguish from the real thing. Its photo image is slightly more blurry than the legitimate issue, and what Bruce Spizers has recommended, that when you're buying this, buy it from a reputable dealer or compare it with an original, just because this one is the most sought after, one of the most sought after. It's the most sought after Capitol sleeve, and it's a very, very rare. I mean, like I was saying, it was rare back in the 1964. It's rare today, and it's surprising of how many people actually have this sleeve now. So when you're buying it, check it out. I mean, it's always best to have a real one by your side if you can, or get the opinions of a reputable dealer. Me personally, I love Rockaway Records. I guess I can put a plug in for them. I actually bought this as well. I got my First Date and this at the Can't Buy Me Love single at their store. So very good prices, very, very fair too. But yeah, let's go ahead and close out on this wonderful record. All right. Well, I really love this single. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Happy hunting out there. Good luck with trying to find it. All the best wishes. Just remember to look for those details. Make sure you're not getting scammed. And definitely keep safe. Peace.